Yazzo, what it do, man? Let's talk about it. Crime, out of control. Everywhere you look, crime is up, double digits. Every major city. If you live in a city with a population of over 500,000 to a million at least, you seeing the crime going up. Murders are up. Everything is up. Everything is up. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. This whole defund the police movement disaster. That's what it is. This whole goofy logic that somehow if you got rid of the police, they tricked you so bad into thinking the police was the number one problem in the black community that they made you believe that if you got rid of them, crime would somehow be reduced and its community would be safer. How's that working out so far? From all these people who were preaching this, all these politicians and celebrities and influencers who are all on board for it. People who live in palaces, by the way, nowhere near the crime, who have security guards around them, so they're very well protected, but they felt the need that you don't need the police. So we're going to help you out. What was the science behind that? What was the logic behind that? Because I haven't seen a movie or even read a book where that bullshit has worked. Made no sense at all. These people do not have common sense. They have a lot of degrees and they're very smart people, but all the degrees and certificates and awards that they have, none of them are for common sense. You can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't. Point blank, period. Either you have common sense or you don't, because common sense will tell you that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't even know how people got on board with this movement. But nonetheless, all these cities that did it, and mind you, these are mostly 98% of these cities that did this, that defunded the police, are run by Democrats. They're run by Democrats. Democratic cities. Yeah, I gotta stress that part out because you might be missing that part. Right, you might be missing that part. New York, Philly, Baltimore, Chicago, Austin, Minnesota, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle, Atlanta. Everywhere you look, crime is up double digits. Right? So not only did you decide to take money away, which, by the way, what is being done with this money they took away? Anybody know? New York, for instance, they took $1 billion away from the police to do what with? What did they build? What have they put in place of this grand solution of getting rid of the police? What would you put in there? I don't see any RoboCops. Right? $1 billion is a lot of money. I don't see any RoboCops running around the streets. Where the money going? Where's it going? Answer. Nobody knows. They just took the money and ran with it. So they thought doing that would help out. And on top of that, you have a police force that is so demoralized from the media and the newspapers and social media that to the point where even the veteran officers are just retiring early. They just retiring, taking their pension and running with it. Or they just quitting. So you got a lot of understaffed police departments all over the country. There's not enough police out there doing work. Murders aren't getting solved, right? Because it takes money. All that CSI shit, that shit costs bread. I don't know what you thought it was free or something like that. Hell no. All them DNA tests and fingerprints and analysis and all this and that. That shit costs a lot of money. So murders aren't getting solved, and there's just not enough police officers out there to do the job. And the ones that are out there, they probably don't even know what to do at this point. Like, what can I do? Like, I can't touch them. I can't do anything. I can't tase them. I can't yell at them. I can't do nothing. So what's the point? If I'm a cop today, yeah, they gonna be mad at me. You were out there for 8 hours, no tickets, no arrest. Nah, they wasn't doing nothing. Nah, I didn't see nothing. I was looking for crime. I couldn't find any. My bad. I'll try again tomorrow. That would be my mindset. Cause I'm not gonna put my life on the line, and I don't have any kind of backing or any kind of support from the politicians, from the media, from the community, right? So I'm doing the bare minimum. You figure it out. And then get back to me. But yeah, they don't want to talk about that though. They rather have you focus on racism some more racism. That's all they're talking about. Racism. Everything is racism now. Racism. But it's starting to make sense to me because why they're doing it. One, Stephen A. Smith, he put a tweet out a few days ago, a week ago, and his tweet was, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is one, figure out how to make my bosses more money, and two, how can I get a piece of that for myself? Sheesh. That was telling. That was telling. You know why it was telling? Because one, he's being honest for the first time in a long time. He's finally revealing to us who he is. Well, not to me or us. Like, we knew who he was, but I think to himself and to the rest of the world that doesn't know what he really is. I think he just told you what he really is, and I think he feels better about himself for it. It's like he needed to vent because they basically made him and everybody in the industry spin a narrative for the last 2 years, and they made him overload. Could you imagine having to go to work every day and having to talk about racism and social justice and new emails here, talk about this today and talk about that? You probably burnt out. It's probably burnt out because it's just too much. It's just too much going on for me to just keep talking about the same thing, right? So I think that's what happens when we had a moment of clarity. But he was honest though, and I appreciate that. People kind of feel like, upset about what he said, and I'm not. I'm happy he said it. I wish more people in this industry would get on board with that message. Put your cards on the table. Let us know who you really are, so that way we know how to deal with you, or how not to deal with you. Because with that tweet, what he basically said is, whatever I gotta say, whatever I gotta do to make my bosses happy, to put a smile on their face, and to keep a couple dollars in my pocket, I'm gonna do it. Even if it means lying to the people, misleading the people, misguiding the people, preaching false narratives, whatever. Whatever I gotta do, whatever I gotta say, whether I agree with it or not, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get to the bag. That whole bag mentality, get to the bag, yeah, you do whatever now. Whatever they get to the bag, you gonna do it. And now you see why they push these narratives. Now you see why everybody talks about racism. Because he's at the top of his field. When it comes to sports reporting, I think about Stephen A., probably Skip Bayless, but they're at the top, Mount Rushmore type status. So if you're at the top and that's your mentality, you can imagine what the rest of the industry is doing. Whew! Somebody just ain't trying to get their feet wet, they probably will really say and do whatever. Whatever. Blatantly lie to you. Doesn't matter. They don't care because they trying to make their bosses happy. They trying to make their bosses happy. And that's why now when you see everybody talk about racism, they just trying to make their bosses happy. They trying to distract you. They trying to trick you and manipulate you into thinking this is real when it's not. You got a big thing with the Olympian, 21-year-old Sherry, forgot her last name, but track star, smoking. She was about to go over there and tear things up in the Olympics, but she failed a drug test. Failed it. Can't blame anybody for that. But what do? They got you focused on that now. Racism. Racism is the reason she was smoking. Racism was the reason that she got drug tested. Racism is the reason why it was in her system. All of that. And they all on board with it. All on board. Not a single person is on board with the killings in the street. Holiday weekend, 100 people killed and shot in Chicago, 17 murdered. All across the country, 400 shootings, over 200 murders. Not a peep. Not a peep from anybody that matters, any influencer, celebrity. Where's Black Lives Matter at? Where the athletes at? Where they at? When it's when it's part of the narrative, when it's a cop doing it, they all on board. They're all on board. They go in the basement, they dust off the BLM shirt, throw it on, go right outside and pound the pavement. Easy. Celebrities, they Twitter fingers go into overload. They just type 10 posts a minute about injustice and discrimination, and slavery, and all this other crap. But when it's the killings in the streets going on right in front of your face, right in your neighborhoods that you grew up in, not a single tweet, not a single post, not a comment, nothing. So what they do? Distract you. They got to her. Olympian. Everybody's on her, supporting her now. Oh, this is a racist country and this is so much injustice. No, it's not. She failed a drug test. It happens. Now, in your world, it doesn't. When's the last time any of you guys had to take a drug test? You don't, so you don't know how the world works. So you think when somebody has a drug test, every job you get in this country, you got to take a drug test for it. I'm sorry to tell you. If you never had a real job, you probably didn't know that. So you think it's injustice. The job does not care if weed is legal. If it comes back with weed in your system, you're not getting a job. If you get into an accident on the highway or on a job, and they send you out for a drug test, and they find weed in your system, they don't want to hear about it. It's legal. They don't care about your weed card or anything, or the plights of society. No. Either way, you're getting fried. You're getting cooked for it. That's just the way it works in the real world. In your world, maybe not so much. Maybe that's the problem with your world. Maybe some of you people need to be drug tested with some of the things you post about and you tweet about and the things you support. Maybe you should be drug tested once a month. Yeah, once a month, like probation. But yeah, they got you distracted with that. We had another politician that came out, Cori Bush from St. Louis, who says the 4th of July, the freedoms that they talk about for the 4th of July are intended for white people because this is stolen land and black people still aren't free. Who's not free? Where? Where are these not free black people at? I want to know because I want to go rescue them. I want to go help them out. Give me a pickaxe. Give me some C4 something. What plantation are they on? Where are they being held at? Let's go get them. Especially, how did you make it, Miss Lady, Miss Politician, Miss Cori Bush? How did you make it? If black people aren't free, how are you a politician? I thought, what plantation did you escape from? Right? Answer, none. There isn't. But that's all they want to talk about because they just want to distract you from everything else. Crime is up. Price of gas, $3.13, national average, $3.13. Not a peep from the media about that. I remember when George Bush was president, it was over $3. They had a ticker at the bottom of the TV screen, 24/7, letting you know the gas prices. Now we got a different president, protected by the media, and nobody speaks a word about it. Food prices is up, prices of material was up, lumber is up. You see what they're teaching in the schools? Critical race theory. Oh, I'm going to talk about that soon. Yeah, they don't want you to know what your kids are teaching. All these agendas being pushed. They don't want to talk about that. So what do they want to do? Distract you with racism. But don't believe the hype. Seriously, don't. All of these are the distractionary tools that they've been using for years, and it's worked because they know the reaction is going to get out of you once they talk about racism. There are bigger things in this country, especially in the black community. And as you can see, the police aren't doing the killings anymore. They're not. It's black on black crime, and nobody wants to speak about it. So it's going to be a long summer. It's only July 4th. We still got another 2 months to go. So until we start tackling the real issues and start opening our eyes and start seeing what's being done to us, we're just going to keep continuing the cycle. But I think they're starting to break because, like I said, Stephen A. Smith with that tweet, that was a sign of a cry for help. But anyway, that's my time, man. I hate being woke. That's my burden, not yours. And I'm out.